Diablo, a name I initially heard in the mid-90s and came to be one of my favourite RPGs on the PlayStation 1. I distinctly remember at the time seeing PlayStation's review, the official PlayStation magazine review, of 6 out of 10 and thinking, is this actually any good? I'm glad I gave it a chance because I really enjoyed Diablo, and it was the first proper RPG that I actually played. So this is why I've made this video, just to try and pass on the kind of knowledge that I picked up in that first playthrough. Ah yes, Diablo. Classic RPG series, still going strong today despite some controversy. My intention today is not to do a deep dive on the plot or anything like that, but to simply illustrate why I think Diablo is an ideal starter RPG for anybody who's coming into the genre, whether young or old. The story is simple. Suffice to say that a big bad has appeared in the bowels of the local church, and you have to go down and kill him along with his horde of mates, which range from skeletons and weird bitey things to full-blown demons and claymen, which is as strange as it sounds, believe me.
Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
Gameplay is easy enough. Mouse controls, so you just left click wherever you would like your character to walk. Left clicking on an enemy will start you hacking away at them or shooting arrows at them, depending. Right click activates your selected spell or ability, and there are various keyboard shortcuts available which open up the various menus, quest logs, inventory screens, character sheets and all the rest of it. All those lovely screens that you'll need to progress in your adventure. As you may have already noticed, your inventory is a set of blocks, and each piece of equipment takes up a degree of space depending on the size of the item, so therefore a large suit of armour will obviously take up more slots than a sword or something such like. Actual equipment that you want equipped onto your person goes into the body slots just above the actual inventory space.
I sense a soul in search of answers.
Character information is displayed in a nice clear way on the character sheet here. All relevant stats and attributes are here, everything essential to your adventure. No messing about or additional fluff required.
What ails you, my friend?
This is also your level up screen, and when you add points to the stats you can actually see the change in your performance in real time, so you get an active look at how your character is actually getting stronger. The thing I really like about this is that it can be related to other games. Even 20 or 25 years after its release, I still look at RPG character screens and look for the stats that I learned from this game when I first played it, when it first came out so long ago. Spells shows you your spell book and what each spell does and what each spell costs to cast. There are a multitude of different spells available, offensive and defensive, and most of it fits into one of three elements: magic, fire or lightning. Technically there is a fourth element in holy, but I do believe this ties in with the general magic category more than being a standalone element of its own. As well as spells, each character has access to a unique ability. For example, the warrior becomes a mobile blacksmith who can repair items on the fly at a cost of an item's durability. The rogue can disarm traps and stop them blowing up in her face. And the wizard is similar to the warrior in that he can recharge his staff at a cost of overall charges. This really comes in when you march into a gang of skeletons and realise you've used your last charge of Holy Bolt. Naturally, panic ensues. As you've probably noticed, we do have an area map. It is very bare bones, only showing the outline of the area we've explored. It does show doors and the staircases which lead up and down to other levels though, and it certainly is a useful tool in navigating Tristram's unholy subterranean kingdom. The basic gameplay loop to Diablo is straightforward enough. Go into the dungeons to level up, to kill harder stuff to level up faster, collecting or buying better loot along the way. One of the real beauties of Diablo is that the dungeons are almost randomly generated, so it's very unlikely you'll actually have the same run twice. There are quests in the game, most of which end up being basically kill this bloke or grab this item. But the thing is, with the random level generation, it does mean that you won't get every quest on every run. As you play through the game multiple times, you'll start spotting indicators which show which quests you're about to get. For example, in the Poisoned Water quest, the fountain next to Cain appears yellow rather than blue, and if you're going to get the Butcher quest, you'll find a dying guy outside the entrance of the cathedral. Not a very nice sight or a very nice story, but still something that adds a little bit to the lore. Talking to the people in the town showcases some nice voice acting and some decent character work as well. Quests, shops and just general nattering can all be accessed from the inhabitants of Tristram, even though by today's standards it does sound a little bit generic and stilted. Another thing I feel I must mention is the music. Whether you're toddling around town or going into the depths of hell, the background music really does provoke a lot of emotion. Whether it's the folk-themed twanging of the village or the tribal drumming of the caves, every piece of music perfectly fits the setting that it's laid against. So, combat is based on stats and casting spells can boost your damage or heal you. All you have to do is go in and click a few monsters, right? Well, no, not entirely. As you've probably noticed, the graphics are all sprite driven, not a polygon in sight. This means the game is quite capable of throwing hordes of enemies at you and ganking you with sheer weight of numbers. It can also throw an astonishing amount of projectiles at you with only the enemy's accuracy stat, your armour class, and how quickly you can move to save you from being perforated. There is an active line of sight system, and unlike the hordes, the archers won't follow you. They will just wait for you to stick your head out though, so be careful when you're coming around those corners. The mobs, on the other hand, will pursue you across the level if they need to, and they will just simply attack you until you die. And when you die, that's it. Game over. There's no checkpoints or anything like that, so if you haven't saved the game, you're off to level 1 again. You can save and load the game wherever you want to, which is obviously a good thing, but it's far too easy to go in overconfident and find yourself wiped out by a hail of arrows, destroying 2 hours of progress in the process. As difficult as every combat situation seems to be, they are always solvable, whether it's going to be sniping with a bow or with magic, or just jamming health potions down your gullet as quickly as possible. Eventually you will whittle the hordes down, and each kill is one more step towards becoming more powerful, so therefore you're always making some kind of progress. Even if it's slow, every enemy killed is a step towards your next level, so at least you're moving forward, even if it is at a snail's pace sometimes. And that's the big appeal for me. The game's easy to pick up and play, but is still immensely challenging, especially on the harder difficulty levels. The gameplay's fun and engaging without being overwhelming or hand-holding too much. The imagery is dark and brooding, and while the graphics are clear and functional, they are a little bit dated, but somehow it still adds to the actual charm of the overall package. And there you go. That's why I consider this to be an ideal starter RPG. It has all of the classic points of an original board game RPG without the faff of writing down character sheets or rolling dice, unless you like that kind of thing, which I actually do. It's easy to play, simple to get into, but tough to master, and can still be a challenge to even the most hardcore gamer. If you want to dip your toes into the RPG genre and you're looking for a starting point, you could do a lot worse than this classic title. And there we go. Thanks so much for joining me on my latest video. Obviously a like and subscribe is well appreciated, and any feedback can be given on any of my social media accounts, so either the YouTube here, my Instagram or my Facebook. So if you've got suggestions for videos, or if you'd like to leave any constructive criticism, it's all taken on board. So thanks very much for joining me, and until I see you next time, you have a good one.